I will show you the new Jamaica that is emerging, the place of choice to live, work, do business, raise family, and retire in paradise. The economy can't shut down the economy has to continue, and therefore there are some strategic decisions that have to be made about just keeping the economy going.
And so, in addition to the $25 billion stimulus package announced by the Finance Minister, Prime Minister Andrew Holness revealed a $10 billion cushion for micro, small and medium-sized enterprises (MSMEs). A Development Bank of Jamaica initiative, the bank will on-lend to financial institutions who will then loan MSMEs at interest rates that have been reduced by 0.75%. As of April 1, the Development Bank will make available $486 million in grants for technical assistance to MSMEs. An additional $10 billion has been set aside for innovative and industrial-type agriculture projects.
Now is the time for enterprising farmers, big or small farmers, and businessmen, big or small, to utilize idle lands, including idle sugar lands, right across Jamaica. Now more than ever, we must feed ourselves.
Over a 3-year period, 20,000 titles will be issued, amendments made to legislation governing lands, and
this program will allow persons in these communities to obtain their titles and pay the cost over time.
Expansions are also expected with the special economic zones industry.
We are going to put out requests for proposals for persons to come and develop the Southlands of Caymanas.
In 2020-2021, government will be spending $15.9 billion on improving the capacity and capability of the country's security architecture. Of that figure, $1.2 billion will be spent on the supply and installation of cameras, servers, software, as well as radio communication and dispatch equipment. Equipping the Maritime, Air and Cyber Command, promulgating the anti-gang legislation, implementing the €20 million Citizen Security Plan, and the establishment of more restorative justice centers will also be carried out in 2020-2021.
The returns on the unprecedented investments in the security apparatus already made is bearing fruit, and more gains will be realized in the coming years.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness will continue to tend to the most vulnerable in society in 2020-2021.
JSIF will engineer and construct an inclusive playground for children with disabilities at Hope Green in Papine. JSIF, in partnership with the Child Protection and Family Service agencies, will construct a therapeutic center at the Maxfield Park Children's Home. The government is offering full scholarships to train 2 more Perfutionists to enhance the capacity to do these life-saving surgeries. The next stage of scaling up of the HOPE program is the full involvement of the private sector. The selection process is far advanced, and successful candidates will be assigned within the public sector by May 2020. It is evident that there is the need for another comprehensive review of the public education system covering all sectors of education, and therefore establishing the Jamaica Education Transformation Commission 2020 under the chairmanship of Professor Orlando Patterson, John Cowles Professor of Sociology at Harvard University. We are targeting the establishment of 6 new STEM high schools, academies, that will serve as centers of excellence for STEM education. We are also collaborating with private sector entities to establish the National STEM Teacher Development Center. Ground truthing of the boundary of the area proposed for protection as the cockpit country is far advanced. The National Tree Planting Initiative to meet the targeted 3 million trees in 3 years is ongoing. So far, we have planted 100,000 trees as part of this effort. Improving data collection efforts and increasing our predictive capabilities and managing climate impacts is critical. We have therefore purchased a new weather radar valued at approximately $3 million for the Met Station in Coopers Hill. We have also signed a contract for the design and installation of a new dual polarization Doppler radar to replace the now obsolete system by December 2020.
In 2020-2021, the Port Authority will be developing the 50-acre Falmouth East Master Plan, a commercial and logistics complex on 12 acres of land at the Montego Bay Free Zone, and extend the Portmore Informatics Park on 6.1 acres of land targeting global services. And the Urban Development Corporation planning for the island's first wildlife sanctuary at Goat Islands has already begun.
NROC will focus on the implementation of the Montego Bay Perimeter Road project. Planning has begun for connecting both the north-south and the east-west leg of the highway, allowing seamless travel in all directions from both corridors.
In eastern Jamaica, the $5.37 billion Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project will kick off with the Harborview to Yallahs leg.
This GIDP is not just a roadwork program, but a true integrated infrastructure program incorporating road and development, water and wastewater, drainage and bridges, sidewalks, streetlights, telecommunications and sensors.
A modernized version of the Lengthman program will be implemented to not only fix highly trafficked roads, but also provide jobs for persons impacted by COVID-19 and displaced sugar workers.
The HAJ's priority going into the next year and beyond are clear: making affordable housing a reality for over 3,000 Jamaican families.
As a result, housing projects are being pursued in St. Catherine, St. James, Trelawney and St. Andrew. At the National Housing Trust, the completion of housing projects are 37% above target. The Guaranteed Purchaser program will be expanded to include efficient developers to provide houses worth between $5 and $8 million.
A total of 8,364 housing solutions are being proposed for the parishes of Hanover, St. Thomas, Portland, Westmoreland, St. James, and St. Elizabeth.
The Trust will also be continuing its scheme upgrade program, financing of off-site water supply and sewerage projects, as well as building new housing solutions at Rasta City, West Kingston, with the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation.
For the financial year 2020-2021, an estimated $41 billion will be spent targeting 5,275 housing completions.
And to provide a buffer for mortgages impacted by COVID-19.
Effective immediately, mortgagors who are laid off can apply for a moratorium on all loan payments for 3 months in the first instance.
Mortgagors may also extend the tenure of their loan or reduce their interest rates. As of April 1, intergenerational mortgagors will be able to access houses on the open market and construction loans. Persons over 65 years may now make voluntary contributions to the NHT to access housing benefits up to age 70.
The Trust will, effective April 1, 2020, reduce interest rates on all new loans by 1%. We are also giving a reduction of 0.5% on all existing loans. The interest rate discounts currently offered to special groups, such as mortgagors aged 55 years and over, the disabled as well as public sector workers, will continue. We have to make this the decade when Jamaica take off. We have to make this the decade when we expand the wealth of our country. We have to make this the decade, Mr. Speaker, when communities can sleep with their windows and doors open.